Team, what up and welcome to the Protein Bites podcast. I am your host, Adriano, and I'm ready to bring you a banger of an episode. So get fucking locked and loaded for this one because it's going to be somewhat enjoyable. I know, got you with the somewhat. So, first and foremost, Merry fucking Christmas. Hope you guys have a banger of a holiday season. I personally hate Christmas, not a big fan, never have been, not likely to be. Right, so today we're going to dive into that. Not my personal experience so much, but just how to get through the holiday season with an even, happy head on your shoulders versus a shit one. Because nobody really wants to walk through 10% of the year, which is the month of December, with a shitty head on their shoulders. It's not ideal, and to be honest, you don't deserve it. So we're going to talk about some strategies revolving around that. We are going to talk about enjoying the holidays, so what that looks like for you as well. We are also going to talk about the idea of how you do the holiday season is how you're going to do the rest of the year, because most people who do the holiday season in a really shit way have a really shit year. Okay, so we want to talk about that. And then avoiding some things that don't serve you. I think culturally, socially, there's a lot of pressure for us to be a certain way or do a certain things or comply to people's beliefs, thoughts, processes. And I just don't think you have to in this day and age, nor should you have ever had to. Let's unpack it all. Let's go through from top to tail. So I wanted to talk about enjoying the holiday season, and I think that's really important. So enjoying the holiday season can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. For me, and I can only speak from my experience, right? 2 years ago, I wanted to suicide. I took some steps to do that about 2 years ago, around the Christmas New Year period. Christmas time for me is a horrible reminder, typically, that I don't have my dad around or my mum around, and a bunch of other things, that my life wasn't perfect and it still isn't there. So for me, unfortunately, I'm constantly reminded of that when I go on social media, things like that. And so as a result, what I've done is take some really harsh active steps to combat that. Because I think if you get stuck in the fact that, like, my mum perpetually hates Christmas, by the way. And so I think for me, what I've sort of learned is, like, I can perpetually hate something and despise a month of the year, or I can get really aggressive with my approach towards enjoying this. And I've come out with some really good solutions. So last year was arguably the best Christmas I've ever had from memory, simply because I did what I wanted to do. Now, what did that look like? Well, I got my push bike, I got my iPad, and I went down to Cronulla Beach and just ate some prosciutto, some olives, some dips and shit, laid out a little picnic for myself, and put on some headphones and just enjoyed my time with myself. Because when I'm in my own space, when I'm by myself, I don't have to impress anybody. I don't have to make anybody happy. There's no expectations. And a lot of times what I find when I'm with specific people, family, etc., there is a lot of pressure to be a certain person or act in a particular way, and that makes me feel really uncomfortable, and I don't like that. So for me, it's much more pleasurable to be in my own company, and everybody's different. So some people really like being around family. I've never had a positive experience in that regard when it comes to being around family around Christmas time. It's not fun for me. So as a result, again, went through the strategies, right? This year, I went back to Christmas with my grandma, and sure as shit, there was so much anxiety leading up to it, a lot more stress than I'd like leading up to it. And I just didn't, like, it was nice to see my nieces and stuff, but, like, I didn't really enjoy the day. I kind of slept most of it away because I was kind of hungover. I was very hungover. And I just didn't enjoy it. And so what I'm going to do from here in, I learned from last year's Christmas. I had the best Christmas I've ever had. This year's Christmas was it was kind of nothing for me. And so what I need to do is start doing things that I enjoy on Christmas and make that a rule. I don't have to comply to what people want me to do. I don't have to feel pressured to go to Christmases where I don't want to go. And I can just treat it like any other day. And I just put that forward to people who do struggle with Christmas around this time. Don't make it about everybody else. Make it about what you want to do. Make it a day for you. Make it hell Boxing Day, even make it a day for you. That's where people go wrong. I went home and my nan and her niece and her sister called me dirty, said I looked awful. And it seemed like as though, you know, I ran with it. I'm a bit of a smart ass. So my auntie was like, "What's with the black mark on your hand?" I was like, "I don't know." I went to the tattoo artist and I said I wanted something completely different, and he just did a big black mark on my hand, and I couldn't even get a refund. It was horrible. And so, so I try my best to make the most of it and take the piss and be my version of playful with things, but I just don't want to be there. And so I just put it to you guys that if that's your mode and you don't want to be somewhere for Christmas, fucking opt out. Opt out. Like, there is no need to suffer mentally for somebody else. I don't give a fuck what's going on. I wiped my hands clean at Christmas last year, and I'm going to do the same next year. You're not gonna get me at Christmas. I'm going to chill. I'm going to have some fucking frozen margaritas, maybe. Hopefully with a lady and my cats, all good things. Maybe just by myself. Don't really give a fuck. But that's what I like doing. Everybody's different. So that's how I kind of combat and get around the holiday season, is just trying to figure out and troubleshoot and I suppose do what I want to do on a day and tell everybody to fucking beat it. That's it. Worked really well for me, and I'm going to keep doing that from here in. So if that's going to help you guys enjoy the holiday season and worry less about the day and the month, then I say go for it. Okay, so maybe take a leaf out of my book if you think that's a good idea. But I just got on the phone to my nan. Hey, Nan, love you so much. We'd be happy to come and see you a couple of days before Christmas, but I'm just not going to be there for Chrissy. I love you, but I'm gonna do my own thing for the day. Have a great day. Love you. Bye. And that's all it takes. So I wanted to talk briefly about how you do the difficult stuff. The challenging stuff is a good reflection of how you're going to do the easy stuff. What does that mean? Let's say over Christmas time, leading up to Christmas time, the month of December, you just fuck it all off. You don't try. That's where a lot of people go wrong. It's because how you do one thing is how you do all things. And when things get hard for you and you just throw in the towel, you are just teaching yourself how to throw in the towel more effectively the next time. That's it. You're not helping yourself. You're not growing. You're not advancing. You are just teaching yourself that throwing in the towel is okay. And to be honest, we've got one life. I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all. Have I had more alcoholic beverages than normal? Yes. But have I been hitting the piss like a madman? No. Have I been drunk every day? No. So for me, it's like, have I been eating hitting my protein goals? More or less? Yeah. Have I been getting my sleep every night? Yes. What are some of the things that I'm ticking off? Those are some of the things that I'm ticking off. So for you guys, it's really important to understand if you are actually serious about your weight loss goals, and then at Christmas time you're busy putting on 4 or 5 kilos, well, you got to have a hard look in the mirror and be like, am I being congruent with what I want? Because let's say if you're putting in 4, 5, 6 kilos in a month's time, it's going to take you about 4 or 5 months to get that off. And then you're halfway through the year, guess what? You've got 3 months worth of work, and then you've got 3 extra kilos off for that year, and then you're going to put it all back on because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so typically when the wheels are falling off, most people just jump ship. A good captain, they say, like, sort of goes down with the ship, right? But what most people do is they just fucking jump overboard. They're like, I'm going to ride this thing out. They don't give a fuck. They just want to move on to the next thing. It's easier. It's less emotionally intense, meaning you don't have to look in the mirror and be accountable to anybody if you jump ship. Like if I was gaining weight, and I've done this like 3 years ago or something. I was really kind of stressed with work, and I was happy to be gaining weight at the time. And I just told my coach, hey man, I need a break for like 2 or 3 weeks. Can't be coached by you anymore. And it was the wrong move to make. Totally the wrong move to make. Because what he would have done is kept me accountable, and I just didn't want to be accountable. So I jumped ship and put on like 6 kilos in like fucking 4 weeks. You know what I mean? Just ate myself out of house and home. And so it worked against me. And so a lot of people aren't willing to see that for what it is. I know that was the wrong move to make. I own my mistake, and as a result, I don't think I've stopped coaching with Benny for a year straight. I haven't asked for a week off, even this week, where the coaching is still happening. So, as a result, my results are better. My headspace is better. There's been times where I've wanted to throw in the towel. He doesn't have contracts. He doesn't make me sign contracts, but I just know that my life's better when I'm being accountable to somebody and I'm setting some sort of goals. Ben's my man. It's just like that. So yeah, I think it's just really important to understand that if you are throwing in the towel around this time and going, I can't be five, nah. That 4 to 6 week period is going to be a really solid reminder of how poorly you're choosing to do things when they get hard. Because when it gets hard, it's time to double down. It is not time to jump ship. When it gets difficult, you need to dig your heels in and get the work done. I'm not talking about starving yourself on Christmas Day or Boxing Day, but smash those 2 days and then get back on the wagon. You know, like for me, I realized I was doing some really shit stuff with like Magnums because I used to eat 2 Magnums every night. That started to burn out to 3, started to burn to 4, 5. Okay. And I was still losing weight in that time because it's only about 1,000 calories. And so if I were having my regular breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I could still get away with like being in a 500 calorie deficit for the day because I pretty much had no carbs, just ice cream as carbs. Super unhealthy. And I noticed I was doing that and I'm like, fuck, okay, what can I do to make a change? Okay, we're going to switch to yogurt for a bit and then we're going to go back to making eggs on toast for breakfast to drop the calories back. If I wasn't that accountable to it, I wouldn't have picked up on it and I wouldn't have cared and I would have just kept going down a shitty path that I was going down. But it's really important to understand that that doesn't have to be what you do with everything. Okay, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And if I was going to self-abandon, fuck, I would have been in ice cream land, chocolate land, okay? And I'm not. For the first time probably ever in the holiday season, I might gain a kilo, if that. I reckon I might hopefully get even lower than what I was, which is 112.3. I'm going to hope for next week be in the shred zone. So we'll see how we go. But that is my firm belief, and it's pretty true across the board. How you do one thing, how you do things when shit gets difficult, you might not nail it. It might not be perfect, but it's going to be better than what it could be if you jumped off shit, okay? Now, this kind of loops in to everything. It's this last point I wanted to make, last thing I want to discuss, is that avoiding things that don't serve you, you need to get rid of them ASAP, okay? So, like, if I have a look at the span of my 7 days a week, right? I have 2 days off on the weekends where I typically don't do anything other than like drink and eat food and chill out. And I've got really big business goals this year. I want to onboard another PT. I want to grow the studio to 140 members. All these nice things I want to have happen. And I can definitely do them. But I understand that the bigger I want to do things, the more sacrifice I have to make. So if I want to grow the business, well, it's going to look like probably working a Saturday every now and then, if not more often than not. Okay. And that means like making sales calls and doing that sort of stuff. If I want to grow the business, that's what I've got to do. And so it's just having that, getting rid of the things that don't serve me. So probably coming up, I'm going to have a big sober streak because I understand that alcohol and going out for my fucking fun lunches and shit aren't really serving the purpose that I want to achieve. If anything, it's probably working against me financially, spending fucking ridiculous amounts of money on lunches and dinners and cocktails. It's probably working against me. So what I need to do is understand that I need to sacrifice some more things to get to where I want to get to. And it looks like, and it's knocking at my door, hey, Adriano, you probably need to save your energy and get your 8 hours of sleep on the weekend, not fuck around, not drink, stay sober, stay healthy and train, and go kind of monk mode to get this next block of work done to get to where you want to get to for June. Okay? And that's where a lot of people go wrong, is that they're happy to keep the things that don't serve them in their life. Like I kept drugs, and look, I'm still not sober in that regard as well, right? Being a bit of a rat bag on weekends and whatever. But I keep that stuff. I had a really bad run with drugs and alcohol. Like it was every weekend, sometimes during the middle of the week. And it just didn't serve me. My life was not going backwards. I was still progressing with business and whatever else, but I just was not in a good spot spiritually. And so I wasn't making good choices, and my decisions every day weren't compounding. They were I was just kind of doing this slowly. Whereas now, because I've got things in place, I'm setting things up and I'm making some changes, and I'm willing to make the sacrifices to benefit my life and grow. Whereas back then, I wasn't kind of even aware that I needed to make sacrifices. I just thought I could, go till the wheels fell off sort of thing. So, yeah, I think it's just really important to understand what they are for you. For some people, it might be shopping if if you don't have a good budget, or it could be whatever. I'm not here to judge you on what your vices are, but it's a really good idea to do an audit. So for me, I work fucking 5 days a week, pretty much 16-hour days. Bare minimum. Like, that's where it's at. Non-stop for 16 hours every day. Saturday, Sunday comes, I'm like, and I just want to drink. Just want to drink. Like, not heaps, not go crazy, but like 5-6 cocktails, wind down, have dinner, boom, rinse and repeat on Saturday night, boom. That's it. But I understand that those patterns aren't really going to serve me to continue. Maybe one night a week, if that, or one night a month. That's where it needs to start to go to. So I can be fresh for the week, ready for my clients, ready to make sales, and ready to do what needs to be done to grow the business. So for you, it might be understanding that going out on Friday nights isn't going to serve you in your weight loss goals, because then Saturday you're hungover and you're overeating and you're doing all these extra things. So if I could give you any advice, it is try your best. And you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to get it off the bat straight away, but it will click in over time. Avoid the things that don't serve you. Okay? Definitely avoid the things that don't serve you. Could be food, could be drugs and alcohol, could be shopping, could be gambling. Whatever it is for you, avoid those things at all costs, because they're holding you back from doing this with your fucking life as opposed to this. Okay? Team, hope you guys have a great holiday season. I am still around the gym. Gym is still still operational thanks to Coach Solomon. He's running all the sessions pretty much. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in the new year. We are running a 28-day challenge. If you are at all interested in there, hit me in the DMs if you're keen. Otherwise, have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one.